By this time, I am going to discuss with you subtracting a fraction from a whole number. You can use pictures in this time, okay? So like for example, 3 minus 2/3. So the problem is 3 minus 2/3. Can I use a picture on this one? Yes. I am going to draw 3 whole rectangles. Okay? So I have 3 rectangles, 1, 2, and 3. And I am going to take away 2/3 of a rectangle. So I am going to divide one of my rectangles into 3 parts. And I am going to take away 2 parts because that's what it says. Take away 2 out of the 3 parts. So I'm going to put an X on this part, and I'm going to put an X on this part. So in this rectangle, only 1/3 is being left. So I'm going to write my 1/3 here. And I still have 2 whole rectangles. 1, 2. I am going to write it in front of my 1/3. So 3 and 2/3 is equals to 2 and 1/3. Is there any other way? Is it only drawing a picture? No, there's another way. What is the other way? I am going to subtract 2/3 from 3. I am going to write them in one line. Okay? So, no, not actually one line, in vertical order. So I'm going to draw a line here because this is using pictures or illustration. This one, we're going to use our algorithm. So I'm going to write my 3, and I'm going to take away 2/3 from 3. I cannot write my 2/3 here because it is a fraction. So I'm going to write my 2/3 here. Okay, there is no whole number. So I will not write anything below 3. I'm going to put my minus sign. Okay, since there is nothing on top of 2/3, I am going to borrow 1 from 3. So I'll cross out 3, and the 3 turns into a 2. So I write my 2 here on top. And the 1 that I borrowed from 3, I am going to change it into a fraction, which is equivalent to 1. And what would that be? I could have 2/2, 3/3, 4/4, and so on and so on. As long as my numerator and my denominator are the same, that means it is equals to 1. But I would take 3/3. Why 3/3? Because the given denominator is a what? 3. So I'm going to write my 3/3 here. Now I am ready to subtract 3/3 minus 2/3. Since the denominators are the same, I will just copy that denominator, which I call the common denominator. I'll just subtract the numerators. 3 minus 2 is 1. Then I am going to write down my 2 here. So the answer is 2/3. If you're going to look at here, when I use pictures, I got 2 and 1/3. When I use the algorithm, I still got 2 and 1/3. So no matter what strategy you're going to use, it will just be the same if you're doing the right steps. Now, I subtracted 2/3 from 3. How about subtracting a mixed number from a whole number? That would be our next discussion. But I'm going to discuss it with you. So I'm going to draw a line here and a line here to save the space. Okay, so I am going to discuss with you subtracting a mixed number from a whole number. Like, for example, 5 minus 3 and 1/4. Using pictures, I'm going to draw 5 whole rectangles. Okay. I am going to take away 3 whole rectangles. I'm going to put an X here. I'm going to put an X here and X here, meaning to say they're gone. So I have 2 whole rectangles left. But then I need to take away 1/4 of a rectangle. So one of my 2 rectangles, I am going to divide it into 4 equal parts. So I would have this. And this is the 1/4 I am going to take away. So from the 4 parts, out of 4 parts, when I took away 1 part, which is 1/4, I have 1, 2, 3, 3 out of the 4 parts, so I would have 3/4. And I still have 1 whole rectangle that is left over. I am going to copy that 1 whole rectangle in front of my 3/4. So I have now 1 and 3/4. So therefore, 5 minus 3 and 1/4 is equals to 1 and 3/4. Okay? This is using a picture. How about if I want to use algorithm or numbers without any pictures? How would I do that? Okay, just the same thing like what I did here. I am going to write my numbers in one line, okay, or vertical. So I'm going to write my 5 here. And I'm going to write under my 5, I will be writing 3. I will make my 5 more, so it could be seen, bolder, okay? And then I'm going to write my 3 under 5 because it is a whole number. And I'm going to write my 1/4 here. Okay? Since there is nothing on top of 1/4, I have to cross out my 5. I am going to borrow 1 from 5. So my 5 turns into a 4. And the one that I borrowed, I would change it into a fraction. What would my fraction be? Since my denominator is a 4, it would be 4/4. Now, I am ready to subtract. 4/4 minus 1/4 is 3/4. I will make it a little bit higher so you can see. Okay? And then 4 minus 3 is 1. So 5 minus 3/4 is 1 and 3/4. If you're going to look at the answer with when I use pictures, I had 1 and 3/4. When I use numbers or algorithm, I have 1 and 3/4. So no matter what strategy you're going to use, if you're doing the right steps, If you are doing everything is correct, your answers would remain the same. This is for now. I discussed subtracting a fraction from a whole number and a mixed number from a whole number using illustrations or fractions and using my number algorithm. I hope I have discussed this clear to you. That's it for now, and see you again next time. Bye bye.